It was the kind of moment that left fans glued to their screens, jaws dropped, and social media set on fire. The tension in the Frost household has always been thick, but absolutely no one saw this explosion coming. Picture it, the cameras rolling, emotions boiling over, and Rasheeda's mother, Ms. Shirlene, storming into the room with a fury that could cut through stone. Her voice shook the walls, her eyes burned with the fire of a woman scorned not for herself, but for her daughter. And in that instant, Kirk Frost's carefully constructed world began to crumble. "You lied to my daughter," she screamed, her words echoing like thunder, leaving Kirk frozen in his seat. Fans couldn't believe what they were witnessing. After years of whispers, rumors, and shocking betrayals, it seemed the truth had finally ripped its way out into the open, and it came crashing down with the full force of a mother's wrath. People watching at home immediately lit up Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with reactions like, "Not Shirlene dragging Kirk on camera like this," and "Protect Rasheeda at all costs." Some even claimed they could feel Rasheeda's pain through the screen, the heartbreak written across her face as her mother unleashed the words that everyone else had been too afraid to say. But what exactly was Kirk hiding this time? Was it another secret betrayal? Another hidden truth waiting to destroy everything Rasheeda thought she knew about her marriage? Or was this confrontation the boiling point of years' worth of deception, manipulation, and emotional turmoil, finally bubbling to the surface? Whatever it was, one thing became crystal clear: this wasn't just an argument. This was war, and it was being fought in front of millions. As the scene unfolded, it wasn't just a family fight, it was a showdown that redefined alliances, put marriages and loyalties to the test, and left fans with one burning question: how much more could Rasheeda take before she finally walked away? And if you think you know how this ends, think again, because what comes next will shake the entire love and hip-hop universe to its core. The room was thick with tension, the kind that makes your chest tighten and your palms sweat just watching it. Kirk sat there in silence, trying to mask his unease behind that familiar cool exterior, but fans could see it. He was rattled. His lips pressed together, his eyes shifting nervously as Shirlene pointed her finger straight at him like a dagger. Rasheeda, caught in the middle as always, looked torn between breaking down and standing tall, but her mother wasn't letting this moment pass. "Don't you dare sit there acting like you don't know what I'm talking about," Shirlene spat, her voice trembling with fury. "I raised my daughter to trust you, to love you. And you," she slammed her hand down on the table, making Rasheeda flinch, "you've been feeding her nothing but lies." The silence that followed was deafening, only broken by the distant hum of a crew camera zooming in on Kirk's face. Fans who later replayed this moment, frame by frame, swore they saw a bead of sweat slide down his temple, a crack in his armor. On social media, clips were shared with captions like, "Kirk looks guilty, and that man knows he's been caught." Rasheeda tried to steady her voice, but her emotions betrayed her. "Mama, please," she whispered, her hand gently touching her mother's arm. "Not like this, not in front of everyone." But Shirlene wasn't about to hold back. Not anymore. Years of watching her daughter stand by Kirk, defend him against rumors of infidelity, financial betrayals, and secret children had built up to this exact moment. It was no longer about protecting feelings, it was about exposing the truth. "Rasheeda, baby, I love you," Shirlene said, her voice softening for just a split second as she looked at her daughter. Then, like a storm gathering strength, her gaze snapped back to Kirk. "But this man right here, he's been running game on you for years, and I got the proof this time." The room gasped. The words "I got the proof" echoed like a gunshot. Even Rasheeda's usually unshakable composure faltered as her eyes widened. Proof. Fans watching from home leaned forward, their hearts racing, desperate to know what bombshell Shirlene was about to drop. Kirk shifted uncomfortably in his seat, trying to keep his voice calm, but there was a slight tremor that betrayed him. "Shirlene, you need to chill. You don't know what you're talking about." "Oh, I don't," Shirlene snapped back, pulling a crumpled envelope out of her purse with dramatic flair, the cameras catching every second of it. She slapped it on the table in front of him, her eyes blazing. "Then why don't you explain these?" Gasps filled the air again, and the crew cameras panned quickly between Kirk's stunned face, Rasheeda's trembling hands, and the ominous envelope sitting on the table like a ticking time bomb. Viewers later speculated endlessly online about what was inside. Was it receipts, text messages, photos, bank statements? The mystery itself became part of the spectacle. Rasheeda reached for the envelope, her hands shaking so badly she almost dropped it. She pulled out a stack of papers, her eyes darting across the lines. And as she read, her face fell, her lips parting in disbelief. "Mama." Her voice cracked, tears welling in her eyes. "Tell me, this ain't real." Shirlene wrapped her arm around her daughter, holding her tightly. "It's real, baby. And I wasn't about to let him keep hurting you without you knowing the truth." Kirk leaned forward, his tone sharp and defensive now. "That's not what it looks like. Y'all are twisting things again, trying to make me out to be the bad guy." "Make you out to be the bad guy?" Shirlene shot back, her voice rising again. "Kirk, you are the bad guy. You've been lying, sneaking around, and you think nobody's gonna hold you accountable. Not today." The tension was unbearable, and Rasheeda, torn between her mother and her husband, finally exploded. "Stop!" she screamed, slamming the papers back onto the table. Tears streamed down her face as she stood up, her chest heaving. "I can't take this anymore. Every time I think we're moving forward, something else comes out. Kirk, I defended you. I stood by you when everyone told me not to, and now this." Fans later said this was one of the rawest, most heartbreaking moments they had ever seen on the show. Rasheeda, usually so composed, so poised, had cracked wide open, her pain pouring out in front of millions. Twitter lit up with posts like, "Protect Rasheeda at all costs, and she deserves so much better than this." Kirk, desperate to regain control, reached out toward her, his voice softening. "Babe, listen, it's not what you think. You know I love you. You know you're my everything. Don't let this tear us apart." But Shirlene wasn't buying it. "You don't get to stand here and sweet-talk your way out of this, Kirk. Not this time. You've lied too many times before." The camera caught Rasheeda trembling, caught between anger, heartbreak, and exhaustion. She whispered through clenched teeth, "Why does it always have to be like this? Why can't you just be honest with me?" And then, the twist that nobody saw coming, Shirlene revealed that the papers weren't about another woman, or at least, not directly. They were financial records. Records that suggested Kirk had been moving money, hiding assets, and keeping secrets about the family business. Fans were floored. Many had expected another cheating scandal, but this cut even deeper. Because it wasn't just about betrayal of love, it was about betrayal of trust, security, and the empire Rasheeda had worked so hard to build alongside him. "He'd been funneling money out the business," Shirlene said, her voice cracking with both anger and triumph. "Money you worked for, Rasheeda. Money that should have been building your future, not disappearing into thin air." The revelation hit Rasheeda like a freight train. She staggered back, clutching the edge of a chair for balance. "Kirk, tell me she's lying. Please, tell me she's lying." Kirk's silence spoke louder than any words. The room seemed to freeze, the weight of his unspoken admission crashing down on everyone present. Fans watching screamed at their TVs, shouting, "Say something, Kirk!" But he sat there, lips sealed, eyes darting, unable to come up with a convincing denial. Social media erupted again, with fans dissecting every facial twitch, every pause, every glance. Some argued Kirk looked guilty as hell. Others claimed there had to be more to the story, that maybe Shirlene was twisting the facts. But everyone agreed on one thing. Rasheeda was once again left devastated, and the family was on the brink of collapse. And just when it seemed like the confrontation had reached its peak, another voice entered the mix, one that only added fuel to the fire. It was one of Rasheeda's close friends, stepping forward from the sidelines, unable to hold back anymore. "You think this is bad?" she said, her voice shaking. "Wait until Rasheeda finds out about the other thing you've been hiding." The room collectively gasped. The crew scrambled to refocus their cameras, and fans at home nearly fell out of their chairs. Shirlene's eyes widened, Rasheeda's breath caught in her throat, and Kirk's head snapped up in shock. "What other thing?" Rasheeda demanded, her voice raw with fear and fury. The screen faded too, black for a moment, leaving fans hanging on the edge of their seats. Desperate to know what bombshell was about to be revealed next, the silence was deafening. Every eye in the room turned to Rasheeda's friend, who stood trembling with the weight of her own revelation. Her voice cracked, but her determination held firm. "I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wanted to stay out of this mess. But, Rasheeda, you deserve to know. He's been hiding more than just money." Rasheeda's head whipped toward Kirk, her chest rising and falling like she could barely breathe. What is she talking about? Kirk, what else have you done?" Her voice was sharp, desperate, and soaked in pain. Kirk shot a glare at the friend, his composure starting to unravel. "You need to mind your business. You don't even know what you're talking about." But Shirlene wasn't having it. She crossed her arms, her eyes narrowing. Oh no, Kirk. You don't get to brush this off. Not when my daughter's heart and livelihood are on the line. You better start talking, or somebody else will. The friend stepped closer, tears brimming in her eyes. Rasheeda, he didn't just funnel money. He's been planning to open up another business. Behind your back, in HIS name only. He's been building it up quietly, using the very money y'all both earned together. He's trying to cut you out. The words hung in the air like a blade, ready to drop. Rasheeda gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Another business. Without me. Her voice broke, disbelief painted across her face. Fans at home were floored. Many had suspected shady behavior, but this revelation sent shockwaves through the love and hip-hop community. Twitter went wild with reactions like, Kirk plotting behind Rasheeda's back. I'm done, and this man never stops scheming. Instagram Reels replayed the moment again and again, zooming in on Rasheeda's devastated expression. Kirk slammed his hand down on the table, his voice rising with frustration. That's not true. You're twisting everything. Yeah, I was thinking about some new ventures, but it wasn't like that. I was doing it for us, for the family. For the family. Shirlene shot back, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Don't you dare sit there and act like this was for her. If it was for Rasheeda, why didn't you tell her? Why hide it? Why keep it a secret? Rasheeda shook her head slowly, tears streaming freely now. Kirk, how many times? How many times are we gonna go through this? Every time I try to trust you, every time I try to believe you've changed, you go behind my back again. I've sacrificed for you, I've defended you, I've looked stupid for you, and this is what I get. The raw emotion in her voice sent fans reeling. People online couldn't stop commenting about how Rasheeda's heartbreak was palpable, how it felt like watching a woman's soul being chipped away in real time. Kirk tried to reach for her hand, but she pulled back, shaking her head violently. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me right now. Shirlene stepped forward, putting herself between them like a shield. You hear that? She's done. She's had enough of your lies. If you think you're gonna keep dragging my daughter down with you, you got another thing coming. The tension escalated even further when Rasheeda's phone started buzzing, on the table. She glanced at it, her face blanching as she read the name flashing across the screen. Fans caught it in the camera shot. It was one of Kirk's former business associates. Answer it, Shirlene demanded. Go on, answer it. Rasheeda hesitated, her hands trembling, but finally swiped to accept the call. She put the phone on speaker. The room held its breath. Rasheeda, the voice on the other end said urgently. You need to know the truth. I couldn't keep quiet anymore. Kirk's been making moves, dirty moves, and if you don't protect yourself, you're gonna lose everything. Gasps erupted from everyone in the room. Kirk lunged toward the phone, shouting, Don't listen to him. He's lying. But the damage was already done. The associate continued, his voice shaky, but determined. He set up shell companies. He's been funneling money through them. And I hate to say it, but it's all in his name. None of it ties back to you, Rasheeda. If he walks away tomorrow, you'll be left with nothing. Rasheeda's knees buckled, and Shirlene had to hold her up. Oh my God, she whispered, her voice cracking into sobs. Fans at home were stunned. The betrayal wasn't just personal anymore, it was financial, legal, and potentially life. Social media exploded with comments like, Kirk Frost is the villain of the century, and I can't believe Rasheeda has to go through this on camera. Kirk, realizing the walls were closing in, grew defensive. His tone turned sharp, almost desperate. This is business, y'all don't understand. I did what I had to do, to keep us afloat. You think I wanted to do it this way? I was trying to protect us, but Rasheeda snapped, her voice shaking with rage. Protect us? By cutting me out. By lying to me again. You're not protecting me. Kirk, you're destroying me. You're destroying everything we built together. The crew caught every tear, every shaky breath, every look of anguish, making it one of the most intense sequences ever filmed. Fans were emotionally drained just watching it unfold. Shirlene turned to Kirk, her fury unrelenting. You think you're slick? You think you can outsmart everyone? But you messed with the wrong woman's child. I will go to the ends of the earth to protect my daughter from you. At that moment, another twist shattered the room. The business associate on the phone revealed something even darker. And Kirk, tell them about the other woman who's been funding your little side projects. Don't act like I don't know. The air was sucked out of the room. Rasheeda froze, her eyes widening in disbelief. What? What woman? Kirk's face turned pale, his eyes darting wildly. He's lying. That's not true. But the associate doubled down. She's real. And she's been bankrolling his plans. Rasheeda, he's not just lying to you, he's building a whole new life without you. The revelation was like a nuclear bomb. Fans screamed at their TVs. Hashtags like #KirkExposed and #Justice for Rasheeda began trending within minutes. And the Frost family drama was suddenly the biggest story in the love and hip-hop universe. Rasheeda collapsed into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably. Sherilyn held her close, rocking her like she was a child again. Baby, you don't need him. You're stronger than this. You'll rise above him. You always do. But the devastation on Rasheeda's face told the world she wasn't sure how much more she could take. She looked at Kirk through tear-filled eyes and whispered, "Is it true? After everything, is it true?" Kirk opened his mouth to answer, but before he could speak, the friend who had sparked this entire chain of revelations stepped forward. Again, her voice was steady now, fueled by anger. "Rasheeda, don't wait for him to tell you. He'll lie again. I saw her. I saw them together, and I didn't want to be the one to tell you, but you deserve the truth." The room fell into chaos. Shouts, tears, denials, and accusations filled the air as cameras zoomed in on every heated word. Fans couldn't get enough, replaying the scene endlessly, dissecting every gesture, every glance, every slip of the tongue. And as the dust settled, Rasheeda stood up, her face streaked with tears but her voice suddenly calm, almost chilling. "You've broken me before, Kirk. But this might be the one thing I can't forgive." Her words cut through the room like a blade, leaving Kirk speechless, Sherilyn defiant, and fans on the edge of their seats. The story wasn't over, not by a long shot, because what came next would make everything before look like child's play. The room went eerily quiet, the kind of silence that isn't peaceful but suffocating. Rasheeda stood frozen, her face drained of color, her eyes locked on Kirk as if staring at a stranger. The cameras captured every tremble in her hands, every tear sliding down her cheeks, every moment of heartbreak, settling into her bones. "Tell me it's not true," she whispered again, barely audible, her voice raw. "Kirk, please, just tell me she's lying." But Kirk couldn't meet her eyes. He shifted in his chair, rubbed the back of his neck, stared at the floor, anything but looking directly at the woman whose heart he'd just shattered. That silence was louder than any confession could have been. Sherilyn was the first to break. "You coward," she shouted, her voice slicing through the tension. "You don't even got the guts to own up to it. You've humiliated my daughter, over and over. And now this. I should have dragged you out of her life years ago." The cameras cut to Rasheeda's friend, her face pale but determined. She had started the storm, and now she doubled down. "I saw them, Rasheeda. In Buckhead. They weren't just talking, they were holding hands. They were laughing like they didn't have a care in the world. And the way he looked at her." She trailed off, guilt flashing across her eyes. "I didn't want to tell you because I knew it would crush you. But you needed to know." Rasheeda's chest heaved, her breaths coming fast and shallow. She grabbed the papers from the table, waved them at Kirk with shaking hands. "The money. The businesses. The lies. And now another woman. Another woman helping you build your little empire while I sit here defending you to the world." Kirk finally snapped, his voice rising with a mix of anger and desperation. "It wasn't like that. She was an investor, okay? Strictly business. Y'all turning this into something it ain't. Strictly business." Rasheeda shot back, her tone icy. "So business looks like you holding hands in Buckhead. Business looks like sneaking around behind my back again." The fans erupted online, dragging Kirk mercilessly. Tweets read, "Every time Kirk opens his mouth, another lie falls out in business. Please, we've seen this movie before." Instagram exploded with memes of Kirk labeled entrepreneur. Sherilyn leaned forward, her eyes blazing. "You're done, Kirk. You've pushed her too far this time. You thought you were slick, but you're sloppy. And now the whole world knows what you are." Rasheeda turned her back to him, wiping her tears, trying to steady herself. Her voice came out low, trembling, but with an edge that showed the steel underneath her heartbreak. "I gave you everything. My time, my love, my loyalty, my career. And you gave me humiliation. Again and again. And again." Kirk tried to interject, his tone softening. "Babe, listen, don't call me that," she snapped, spinning around with fury in her eyes. "Don't you dare call me that. You don't get to talk to me like nothing's wrong. You don't get to pretend like I'm still yours. not after this. The crew zoomed in, capturing the raw devastation in her eyes. Fans later said they'd never seen Rasheeda this broken on camera. One viral TikTok clip of her yelling, "Don't call me that," gained over 1 million views within hours. Kirk's defense began to crumble. His words stumbled, his tone lost its usual swagger. "I made mistakes. Okay, I admit that, but I did everything with you in mind. I was trying to build something for us, for the kids, for the kids." Rasheeda interrupted, her voice shaking with rage. "Do you even realize what you're teaching them? That lying, cheating, sneaking around is okay. That breaking the woman you claim to love is normal. Our kids deserve better than this. I deserve better than this." The room was electric, every word from her lips sending shockwaves through fans at home. Viewers flooded the comments. "This is the Rasheeda we've been waiting for, and she's finally finding her voice." Shirlene, ever the protective mother, nodded firmly. "That's right, baby. You deserve a man who lifts you up, not one who drags you down. And if he can't see that, then he don't deserve you at all." Kirk looked cornered, his jaw tightening. "So what? Y'all just want to throw away everything we built?" Just like that. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, her voice steady now, the fire returning. "What we built, or what I built while you tore it down behind my back. Don't you dare try to play victim, Kirk. You did this, you chose this, not me." The friend added fuel to the flames. "And don't forget, word is already spreading. People know, Kirk. You can't hide this anymore. The fans, the industry, everybody's talking." And sure enough, in real time, hashtags began trending. Hashtag Team Rasheeda. Hashtag Kirk Frost exposed. Hashtag Mama Shirlene said it best. The drama had spilled out of the room and into the public, and there was no going back. The weight of it all finally hit Rasheeda. She sank onto the couch, her face buried in her hands. Between sobs, her words came out muffled but powerful. "Don't even know who you are anymore." Kirk knelt in front of her, tears welling in his own eyes. For the first time, his voice cracked. "I messed up. I know I messed up, but I love you, Rasheeda. I don't want to lose you. Please, don't let this be the end." Fans watching were torn. Some believed his tears were genuine. Others dismissed them as crocodile tears. Instagram comment sections filled with debates. "He's only crying 'cause he got caught," versus "Maybe he finally realizes what he's losing." But Shirlene wasn't moved. She stepped between them once again. "Too late, Kirk. You don't get to break her down and then cry like you're the victim. You've had chance after chance, and you blew every one of them. She doesn't need your tears. She needs your honesty. And you clearly can't give her that." Rasheeda finally lifted her head, her face red and streaked with tears, but her eyes clear. "You always said we were a team, Kirk, but you've been playing solo behind my back this whole time. I can't be the only one fighting for this marriage. I won't be." The declaration hit like a gavel slamming down in a courtroom. Final, firm, no more bargaining. The cameras zoomed in on Kirk's devastated face, Shirlene's triumphant glare, and Rasheeda's broken but determined posture. Fans online speculated endlessly about whether this was the breaking point. Was this the moment Rasheeda would finally walk away for good? Then, just when it seemed the storm couldn't get any wilder, Rasheeda's phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a business associate, it was a message. She glanced at the screen and gasped. The cameras caught her eyes widening, her lips parting in shock. "What is it?" Shirlene asked, concern lacing her voice. Rasheeda held up the phone, with trembling hands. "It's her," she whispered. "The other woman. She just messaged me." The room erupted. Shouts, gasps, chaos. Kirk lunged toward the phone. Rasheeda pulled it back, and Shirlene yelled over the noise. Fans at home nearly fell out of their chairs. And as the camera zoomed in on the unread message glowing on Rasheeda's screen, the world braced itself for yet another devastating truth. And just like that, the Frost household was left in ruins. Rasheeda, broken but standing tall, finally seemed to draw a line in the sand. Shirlene, fierce as ever, stood by her daughter with the fire of a mother who refuses to see her child hurt one more time. And Kirk, well, Kirk sat alone, his lies, his schemes, and his betrayals piled around him like ashes of a love story he had burned to the ground with his own hands. Fans are still reeling from this explosive confrontation. Was this truly the end of Rasheeda and Kirk, or just another chapter in their roller coaster saga? Social media is divided. Some believe Rasheeda will finally walk away for good, while others argue Kirk will find a way, like he always does. to slither back into her life with apologies and promises. But after the receipts, the phone calls, the other woman, and Shirlene's fiery takedown, can there really be a way back? This isn't just another fight. This feels like a breaking point. A moment in love and hip-hop history that fans will talk about for years to come. And one thing is certain, the Frost family will never be the same again. But now, it's time for you to weigh in. Do you think Rasheeda should finally leave Kirk behind once and for all? Or do you believe in second, third, even fourth chances when it comes to love? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear everything you've got to say about this jaw-dropping showdown. And if you're as hooked on this drama as we are, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you never miss the next wild twist in this saga. Trust me, this story is far from over.